Every director faces the same fundamental question: where should the camera be positioned? The possibilities seem endless. You could frame it wide or go in tight. Try a medium shot, a cowboy angle, or an over-the-shoulder perspective. Shoot head-on, from the side, in silhouette. Keep it clean or add foreground elements. Capture 2 people, 3 or 4. Keep the camera still or set it in motion. Work with practical locations or CGI environments. Use traditional sets or LED volumes. Mount it on a dolly, rig it to a car, balance it on a gimbal, or send it up on a drone.
I do find that after all these years, and with all the new technology, there are more choices, and it's kind of good in a way, except that more than 2/3 of those choices you don't need to make.
Right, because they end up wasting time or something?
It's wasting time.
This brings us to a critical question. Which decisions actually matter when positioning our camera? The first step is understanding purpose. Every scene exists in your film for a specific reason. Our responsibility is to identify that purpose even when we're the ones who wrote the screenplay.
You write it, you think you figure it out. Then the director says, who the wrote this? Even if it's you.
Sometimes the goal is straightforward. The audience simply needs to receive certain information to follow the narrative forward.
I'm taking this woman into Red Rock to hang.
Other scenes demand a more sophisticated touch. This is where interpretive skill becomes essential.
Here's an example of a perfectly simple scene that it took me a good hour and 15 minutes to figure out how to shoot. The scene wasn't important. What was being said wasn't important. And so I just sat down at a certain point and I thought, okay, what's the scene about? What is the scene about? The scene is about a guy in the cart. That's what the scene is about. And as soon as I figured that out, designing that shot was easy.
Notice how Soderbergh positions his camera to guide the viewer's focus toward that singular element.
But it's really that simple sometimes, like what information do we really need to get out of this scene?
The second consideration involves staging. Whether you plan with storyboards, use figurines, or discover it during rehearsals, the actor's movement patterns typically dictate optimal camera placement.
How do you construct the shot, though? What's the process of actually working out, choreographing the camera related to the actors?
Consider how different staging choices create entirely different dynamics. In the 1969 True Grit, Rooster Cogburn stands alone on the staircase when Mattie Ross walks up to him. Their positioning puts them at the same eye level. The 2010 version changes this completely. Mattie waits at the stair's base, forcing him to literally look down at her. In the original, he's constantly moving while she pursues. In the remake, she intercepts him no matter where he goes. She's already positioned there. That observation point, that's your camera position. The third decision operates on a more conceptual level.
The shots were designed, or at least I like to call it like a philosophy of a shot.
Each project, sometimes each individual scene, requires selecting an overarching camera approach that guides our placement decisions. But if you're stuck not knowing which approach to use or where to even put your camera, the Cinematic Depth System walks you through exactly where to position your camera for any scene, how to frame shots that pull viewers in, and how to tell stories that stick in their minds long after the screen goes dark. Click the link in this video's description to check it out. Now, let's move on.
It's a real-time story, and you're following basically 2 characters. They're always moving, just about always moving. This is conceived as a single shot in real time. Sam and I really were thinking about it like, where would we ideally want to put the camera? As you would normally on any film, and say, well, at this moment I need to see their faces, this moment I need to see what they're seeing. I want to push in, I want to be wide and see them little figures.
Here's what's fascinating.
What is that?
Every filmmaker develops their own unique perspective. Some maintain a consistent philosophical approach, refining it from project to project. Others completely reinvent their camera language for each new film.
Well, I kind of had an image of Lady Bird, like that I wanted it to be almost like stained glass windows in churches. Because it's Catholic school and all of that, I was sort of like thinking of everything as presentation within a frame. But then when I got to Little Women, I had the opposite feeling. I felt like I wanted the camera to be alive and curious and a dancer. Like I almost wanted the camera to start young and then get older, like the girls did.
The key is establishing something concrete that your crew can build upon. Production realities will inevitably alter some of your plans.
Sam rehearsed all the scenes with the actors. Then we would discuss, okay, this is their blocking. How do we want to cover that? Once we'd figured and laid down that in a lot of detail, actually, James was like, let's look into how we can move the camera. What techniques do we want to explore? So then we spent a couple of months, didn't we, really?
Testing.
But camera placement isn't solely about narrative structure, actor blocking, conceptual frameworks, or practical constraints. There's something deeper at work.
It always goes down to the basic as an actor and as a director. What do you want to say?
Right.
This is the essential choice. What message are we trying to communicate? This question shapes everything the scene's intention, how actors deliver their performances, and how the camera behaves. It's the hardest question because it's intensely personal. Nobody can answer it for you. During production, with countless demands competing for your attention, this core question can easily slip away.
And what's in the way? Something's in the way. What the hell is it? Is it technology, or is somebody, distracting you? It's that simple.
Sometimes equipment creates obstacles. Sometimes it's the weather. Sometimes it's limited resources. And sometimes the obstacle is internal.
People have asked what directing is like. What is the experience like? I have to admit that it's always a bit nerve-wracking. None more so than your first time, where you're surrounded by a lot of people with more experience at what they do than you have at what you're doing. The truth of it is that you have nothing to rely on at the end of the day except your own instincts. For me, the creative process is the process of learning to trust that your creative instincts will carry you through. There aren't specifically right or wrong choices. There are the choices that make sense to you, and those are the choices that you must make.
So where does this leave us? With all these possibilities, all these angles and movements and technologies, how do we actually make the decision? It comes down to 3 essential questions. First, what is this scene truly about? Not the 5 things happening, not the 10 lines of dialogue, the one thing at its core. Second, where does the energy flow? Watch your actors, observe the blocking, let the movement reveal where the camera belongs. And third, what do you want to say? This is your voice, your perspective, the reason you're telling this story in the first place. But here's the liberating truth. You don't need to consider every option. Remember, Scorsese's insight, 2/3 of your choices are unnecessary. The question was never, where can I put the camera? The real question is simpler, more focused. Where does the camera need to be? Strip away the excess. Trust your instincts. Make the choice that serves your story. Because in the end, a camera positioned with clarity and purpose will always be more powerful than one lost in infinite possibility. But if deciding where to put the camera still feels uncertain for you, the cinematic depth system we mentioned is linked in the description below. The camera is waiting. You just need to decide. See you in the next episode.